challenging Wisconsin's 174-year-old abortion ban can continue. This according to a court ruling today. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul filed the lawsuit days after Roe v. Wade was overturned last summer, seeking to repeal the ban. One of the defendants, Sheboygan County's District Attorney Joel Yermansky, filed a motion seeking to dismiss the case back in December. Dane County Circuit Judge Diane Schlipper ruled today to deny that motion, meaning the lawsuit will continue. Regardless of how the judge rules, the case carries so much weight for the state, it will almost certainly head to the state Supreme Court. Governor Tony Evers responding to today's ruling in a tweet, writing, quote, "This is good news and a critical step in our fight to end our state's criminal abortion ban and restore the reproductive freedom for women in Wisconsin until SCOTUS overturned Roe last June." Wisconsin Family Action's president also responding to the decision, saying, quote, "Regardless of any decision by any court, Wisconsin Family Action will continue to be as aggressive as possible in defense of the unborn in Wisconsin."